All right, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of Ole Miss After Dark. We're back here to bring y'all some Week 9 winners from the college football world. We'll look back on how we did during Week 8. And before we get into all of that, though, let me tell you about Rhythm, the absolutely best sports handicapping app out there. Go to the Apple Store or Google Play, download Rhythm, sign up, get 7 days free. That's RITHMM. And when you do that, you can start building your own models for different sports, NFL, college football, NBA. And that's starting now all of a sudden. And if you don't want to build your own models, you can have their AI build models for you, or go to to their leaderboard, and you can pick models that are performing well and copy those and use those for yourself as well. So again, go download that app called Rhythm, RITHMM, and start making a little bit of money with us here today. And also, don't forget to go visit our online store, omafterdark.myshopify.com. It's streaming across the bottom line here. If you are watching on YouTube, you can find shirts, sweatshirts, starting to get cold outside, pajama pants, hats. We've got Papa Lynn's hot sauce made here in Ecru, Mississippi, a high quality hot sauce. And we should hopefully this weekend, we're getting pickles in hand from Stewart's Cajun Dill Pickles. We will have pickles, the mix, jars of mix with pickles, carrots, and green beans, and also getting jars of pickled asparagus as well. Hope to have all that up on the site at some point this weekend, maybe early next week. And when you place your order at checkout, use promo code SHIP, SHIP, and everything that you order ships to you for absolutely free. We will cover that for you. So y'all go check that out. That's omafterdark.myshopify.com. And I'm back here once again, like I am every single Wednesday, joined by Hitch. Apparently, he is a player of bets, and my good friend Chad Flowers, the winner of bets, as we all know him. How we doing, guys?
Doing great. Keep winning, man.
Yeah. It's been a pretty decent year for really all of us so far. Going to try to keep that going into Week 9 now. It's kind of wild. We're already into Week 9. Seems like this year is absolutely flying by. Let's take a look back real quick at Week 8, how we all did. I ended up leading the pack, going 3-1 plus 2.55 units. Brings my overall total to 16-16. Positive 1.91 units. And this is a perfect example. Me and Hitch both gave out Army minus 15 last Wednesday on the show, of why you need to tune in at 6 p.m. Central every single Wednesday to catch our picks, because Army minus 15 was a winner. Army on Saturday, if you placed it minus 17, that was a push after the flood of garbage touchdowns that came there at the end. But if you got 15 with us on Wednesday, you ended up winning that bet. Army always covers, and they did it once again. I ended up hitting my money line bet as well, Georgia plus 165. They completely dominated Texas. The score isn't indicative of how dominant I felt Georgia was there in Austin. Hitch ends up going 2-2 minus 0.1 unit, so basically broke even, brings his overall total to 15-17. But still positive 3.37 units. He's been on fire with money line play so far this year, and that's really kept his head above water there. Chad also 2-2 minus 0.1 units, and brings his total to 17-15, and he has a slight edge over Hitch, positive 3.95 units so far on the year. One thing we've started doing is looking at our straight bets, because obviously the money line plays, more times than not, you're not going to hit them, since we just take underdogs for the most part. So started tracking straight bets, and I'm at 14-10 plus 2.3 units. Hitch is 12-12 minus 1.2 units. And Chad has been on fire, 15-8 plus 5.1 units on the year. Hell of a run for you, Chad.
Hey, we'll keep it rolling this week. Got some good ones.
That's right. Look, there's actually a lot of games I like this week. I'm kind of scared with the number of bets I'm going to end up having throughout this week, and then obviously on Saturday with all of the good games. So let's just go ahead and dive into it. We'll get into the Week 9 lines and our picks. I'll go ahead and start this off. I'm starting it off with Tulane minus 7.5 at North Texas. They're going on the road. This Tulane team, though, has been really impressive under year one from John Summerall. Obviously, he took over a program that had a really good base after Willie Fritz left to take the Houston job, but John's kept this thing rolling along down there in New Orleans. North Texas, they throw the ball 65.5% of the time, and they're really good with the clean pocket. A 115.6 rating with a clean pocket drops all the way down to 61.5 once you get pressure on them, and a pass blocking grade on PFF of only 62. So they struggle protecting the quarterback even as much as they do throw it. And guess what Tulane does well? They can rush the passer. They can get pressure on, and that's what you have to do to this North Texas team. It's an 83.6 pass rush grade on PFF for Tulane, so they're able to bring pressure, speed things up for that quarterback, and make them make mistakes. And Tulane is a little bit opposite of North Texas. They're going to run the ball more times than not. 57% of the time, they're going to run the ball, and North Texas is a poor tackling team. 54.9 grade on PFF tackling. That's a perfect mixture of give me the team that will run the ball against the team that can't tackle, and give me the team that can rush the passer against the team that wants to throw the ball but can't protect the quarterback and doesn't throw it particularly well once he's pressured to begin with. I would love it to get under a touchdown, but I think this is probably a double-digit game anyway, so I'll go ahead and take Tulane minus 7.5.
Not one of my official plays, but I'm on the other side. I like the offense of North Texas, keeping it under a touchdown. It's more just that North Texas offense. They played really well. Now Tulane is great. Summerall he's a heck of a coach. He'll be at a P4 school before long. But yeah, I just like that North Texas offense. They're a little banged up at running back, but I think that they can maybe at least get a trash touchdown at the end to keep it within the margin.
Yeah.
Okay. Is that one of your picks this week, Chad?
No, it's not. I've already had money on North Texas, but it's not one of my officials.
I'm weirdly enough, I'm kind of in the middle of y'all. I actually looked at this one for the plus money play, just simply because North Texas is number one in the country when it comes to explosiveness. I was on North Texas last week against Memphis, and that was one of the reasons is because North Texas can score quickly from anywhere. But the thing that I looked at here was that Tulane's much better than really anybody that North Texas has played when it comes to stopping that explosiveness. And so I stayed away from this one. If I were to bet this one, I would bet the UNT money line if it goes under a touchdown, just for the simple fact that I could see it being a shootout, UNT getting the ball late and scoring. But I'm not crazy about it over a touchdown either way, really. So, yeah.
Gotcha. All right, Hitch, what's your first one?
I'm going to go and get this one out of the way. This one won't take long. Navy plus 13 at home. Notre Dame's going to have to prove that they can, stop this Navy offense, right? After giving up, I think 200 yards against Northern Illinois on the ground, right? They did pretty well against Georgia Tech last week. Only gave up 64 yards on the ground, but Georgia Tech was short of their quarterback, who is a big part of that running game. It's tough to get ready for this Navy offense on just a week's notice like this. And with it being double digits, I like Navy to stay within the number here at home. I don't necessarily like this for the plus money. It's enticing, but because of who it is and the odds you get. But I do like plus 13 at Navy at home, so I'll take that.
Going to be an interesting next show because I like Notre Dame. I mean, it's not another one. I've got money on Notre Dame. It's not one of my plays. Navy has not played anybody. Their best game is their best opponent is Memphis, and Memphis put up 44 points on them. And this is a neutral site game, so there's no home field advantage. Yep. It's in East Rutherford, where the Giants and Jets play. And if you look at what Notre Dame has been doing the last couple of games, they did lose to Northern Illinois, but they've been pretty dominant the last couple of weeks. Yeah, Georgia Tech put up a few points on them, but I just think Notre Dame is just going to out-athlete the Navy this weekend. I hope I'm wrong. It's fun to see Notre Dame lose, but I think that this is a huge step up in competition for the midshipmen.
Yeah, I just think they stay within the number. They can, I think they can if they control the ball right and they put together some drives against this very good Notre Dame defense. I just think they stay within 13 here.
Yeah, and I will go ahead and just let y'all know I also have Navy plus 13 as one of my picks for this show. If y'all want to go ahead and write that one down, we'll skip me next time. But I like Navy because you only have 1 week to prepare for this offense, right? And, I know Notre Dame's got Army coming up either next week or the week after, something like that. So, it's probably a worse spot for Army, knowing that there's a little bit of a jump with them getting prepared for Navy, right? But one thing Navy has been able to do that they haven't traditionally been able to do is they throw the ball fairly well, enough for it to be a threat. I think they even lined up into a 4-wide shotgun formation this past weekend 2 or 3 times throughout the game to throw the ball. It's not just all out of the triple option play action stuff you usually see from them. So that added dynamic it's just another wrinkle you have to prepare for. You only have a week to do it. Really like what I've seen out of the midshipmen. So I took Navy plus 13 as well. Almost took them for my money line play, but I saved another one for that. And I'm just going to take the points here.
Yeah. If the Navy passing game can keep the Irish honest, then they have a chance.
Yes.
That's the key to it, in my opinion.
Yeah, that's what I'm banking on. So go ahead, Chad.
All right, I like Boise State in Vegas -3. I got it at 115. It's just a play on Boise State's offense, especially Ashton Jeanty. I don't have much to say about him other than he's awesome. We all know how good he is. UNLV has looked great even after their quarterback opted out, but I don't know. I like Boise State. They run the ball really well, obviously. They're solid on defense. I'm going to take a chance. And it's a funny number, right? It's at UNLV and their favorite. I'm going to lean into that contrarian, and I'm going to go Boise State.
Yeah, that's kind of my initial reaction with this game as well. I haven't dove into it yet, but my initial thought was you're giving me that small of a number. Even though it's on the road, it's kind of weird. But with the game that's only a 3-point spread. Now, I'd love for it to dip under it, obviously, but a number that small, there is clearly one player on that field that is better than everybody else, and it's Ashton Jeanty. I would ride him all the way to a win for if I was Boise as well. So that's kind of where I lean to without looking into it too hard so far at this point.
Yeah, I would agree. I actually kind of love Boise State here. I think that UNLV is very good, but Ashton Jeanty has proven that he's not just a flash in the pan, right? Like he's a dude. And as good as UNLV has been, I don't see them. I don't see them winning this game, much less staying within the 3 points. So, especially if Boise State can get a lead and then they can lean on Jeanty, right? That's the best weapon they have.
Yep.
Yeah, absolutely. So, all right, we'll go ahead and move on from there. As already mentioned, I had Navy plus 13 as my second pick, so we'll go ahead and shift right back to Hitch here and get play number 2 from him.
Yeah, another kind of just simple one for me. And I say simple as I don't have a lot to back it up. It's just a bit of a feeling. But Duke plus 12, it just seems like too much for this defense against SMU. SMU has been very good this season, and surprisingly, they've been very good on defense. But Duke has been equally as good, and they both have about the same strength of schedule and thing. But it's just once I saw this number get over 10, or once I saw that it was over 10, it just felt like too much, because I think Malik, the quarterback for Duke, right? I think that they can do enough on offense to maybe score a couple of touchdowns or put themselves in a position to score on this SMU defense. And I don't know that the SMU offense is going to do a lot against the Duke defense. So this is, again, just a play on Duke being at home, and I think their defense keeping them in this game.
Yeah, it was a game I looked at. I didn't make any plays on it. My numbers liked SMU just a little bit, but Manny Diaz has got Duke playing pretty well.
Oh,
so,
I'm glad you said that. Like, that's something else. I mean, like, you don't realize it, but Duke is 6-1, right? And Manny Diaz has done a good job. He's a defensive-minded coach, and they're the defensive backs of this Duke team have been a strength this year. And I think that they're going to give the, I guess, not Preston Stone, but the other guys, the one that's been playing for SMU. I think they're going to give him a lot of trouble this weekend. So just stay within the number. Not saying they're going to win, but they'll stay within 12 here.
Yeah. My initial reaction was Duke plus 12 here as well. So I like that bet for all the reasons you just said. I think that this is a good enough team. They're gritty. They're going to grind it out. And they're going to slow this game down a little bit, or they're going to try to at least. I'm sure that's going to be the game plan. Now, if they let SMU speed this thing up and get going at their own pace, they'll probably be in trouble. But I don't anticipate that happening, and I like Duke to stay within the number as well. So, all right, Chad, what's your second one?
All right, I'm going to take Cincinnati plus 5.5 on the road in Boulder. I got it at 110. Cincinnati's been kind of sneaky. They've been quiet this year. If you look at PFF grades, 90 overall offense at 83, defense is at 86. They've won a couple games in a row, getting into a little bit of a groove. Travis Hunter's banged up. I think he's still going to play. So obviously he is a huge X factor, and he could win this game alone for Colorado and help him cover alone. But I just feel like it's a few too many points. Colorado's been playing close games. Cincinnati is not going to, overwhelm Colorado, but I do like them to keep it, close to a field goal. So I'll take the points with the Bearcats.
Yeah, kind of like you said with Travis Hunter, even if he does play, I expect him to play as well. But if he is banged up, he's not going to be able to go out there and play 100 plays, both sides of the ball all game long, right? Any plays that he takes off is an advantage for Cincinnati. So yeah, I mean, 5.5 points. That's a pretty big number against what's been an underrated Cincinnati team. Yes. I would say, just kind of like you said.
Yeah. Both them and Pitt. I think that game early in the year was such an ugly game by both teams offensively that maybe they're not getting the credit in the market that both teams really, because I think Pitt maybe this week is getting a little bit more than they have been, but I like this one too. I looked at this one. I just couldn't pull the trigger on Cincinnati.
Yeah. So, all right, we'll go ahead and go to my third pick. I'm going to take the Bayou Bengals traveling to Kyle Field and College Station, catching 2.5 points here. LSU plus 2.5. Love the way Nussmeier's playing. Right now, he looks like the best quarterback in the SEC. I think I would probably take him over anybody, including Beck, even Jackson Dart, all of those guys. He's playing really well. The key to this LSU team right now, they are the best offensive line in the country, and it is not even close. They're probably the only elite offensive line in the entire country, and they're going to need it this weekend against Texas A&M. Nick Scourton has had an incredible year coming off the edge for A&M. They got a couple big disruptors there up front. This LSU offensive line, though, has played well all year long. Kept Ole Miss in check. We were number one in the country in sacks, pressures, all of that. Going into our game down in Baton Rouge, I think the offensive line keeps him clean, and that linebacker Weeks for LSU is playing out of his mind right now. If they can get any sort of pressure on Wegman, get him off of his game, we've seen what bad Connor Wegman looks like, and it's really, really bad. If they get any version of that, and Nussmeier just does what he's done all year long, I like LSU to win this game outright, quite frankly. But I had another game that I picked for my plus money play, so I just went ahead and took the 2.5 here with the Tigers.
Yeah, I'm on this game as well. Both the 2.5. I like the money line. Yeah, I like LSU a good bit. They're a better team. Texas A&M they've had impressive wins, but they haven't been like impressive throughout the season, right? I mean, you look at what they did against Mississippi State last week. Mississippi State, to their credit, they're playing hard, but 31 points, or I think that's how many they gave up. I'm still not impressed with them as a team if you look at the eye test.
Yeah.
Yeah, same. And I mean, you said it with the putting pressure on Nussmeier, right? If that offensive line can protect him, then LSU wins the game. And so I think that will happen because, like you said, they're probably the best offensive line in the country. So I like the plus 2.5. I'm not on this yet, but I probably will be.
Yeah. So, all right, Hitch, what's your third one?
Indiana minus 6.5.
My man.
And, I think that we may be getting a combination here of Washington still getting too much credit for last year, maybe, and then the win over Michigan earlier. But, outside of that win, right, you don't have – they were beat by Washington State, who is very good. And then they have a couple of other losses. Rutgers, right, at Rutgers, who I wouldn't consider world beaters, but, at home they're pretty good. And I think it's a combination of that and maybe Indiana still not getting enough credit somehow for how good they are, even though, Curtis O'Rourke is out. Like I know that he's out, but when you look at the guy that came in, after he got hurt last week, Taven Jackson, 7 for 8 for 91 yards, 2 touchdowns, right? 2 carries for 21 yards. I just think Indiana's better on both sides of the ball. And so if it's under a touchdown, right, I'll take the Hoosiers. Minus 6.5.
Yeah. Yeah, I couldn't agree more. I like Indiana here as well. I obviously had concerns once they announced Rourke was out, but again, I think this is more of a system than anything with Indiana, right? And that kind of goes to show you that Cignetti and what he brought in to Bloomington and what he's instilled into that program. Indiana is a really, really impressive team right now. Anything under a touchdown, I'm going to be playing Indiana as well.
Yeah, I'm on Indiana as well. I like them. I think that even with their quarterback out, they're still a well-coached team, and I like them to win. Not handily, but yeah, they'll cover, in my opinion.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, Chad, what's your third one? I'm
on the fence between Oklahoma State and Wake Forest. Neither team is great, but I'm going to go Wake Forest -3 on the road on the farm against Stanford. Wake Forest hasn't been great. They've been playing better lately. Stanford's just not very good. You look at that Stanford offense, it's really bad. Like I said, Wake Forest, they're pretty well coached. Clawson does a good job. They with how they've been playing, give me the Demon Deacons. I would love it under 3. I think it will get there if you can wait it out a little bit, but because right now I can only get a -3, but that's what I'm going to take. Demon Deacons -3 against Stanford.
Yeah, this is like as soon as I saw Wake Forest was favored by 3, my first thought was, okay, let me dig into this so Stanford can be my plus money play going all the way across country, right? And then I started looking at it, man, there just ain't no way I could make that bet. I like Wake Forest. I wouldn't even mind it if it didn't get under 3. I think they win by a touchdown or more. Like you said, Stanford, especially offensively, is just absolutely abysmal.
They're dreadful.
Yeah, I keep wanting to like Stanford every week. Every week I keep looking at it and being like, I want to like this. I want because I think that they have a quarterback who is legitimately very, very good.
He's a freshman.
It just doesn't have anything. And every time I look at it, I think this is the week. And again, I was like, oh, well, Wake Forest, right? I've seen them, right? Their defense is it great? But yeah, when you look at it, it doesn't make any sense to go with Stanford. Maybe Stanford's a year away from being that team that Indiana, right? From this year, whatever.
And back to Oklahoma State real quick. I think if you can get a touchdown against Baylor, I still like Oklahoma State, but under a touchdown would be too risky considering how spotty they've been.
Yeah, I agree there. All right, so we will get into our plus money plays. I'll start it off. I'm going to go with two teams that are going in completely opposite directions and probably have a completely different outlook on the season so far this year, even though they are both 4-3 and have the exact same record. I'm going rivalry game. Give me the Michigan State Spartans on the road to the Big House to beat Michigan. I think they were 5.5-point underdogs, something like that. But look, this what was it, Smith that came in from Oregon State, took over Michigan State, has done a really good job. And after 2 or 3 really bad years there in East Lansing, now they're getting a little bit of hope, right? They're starting to get going in the right direction. Michigan's coming off of a national championship with a new coach, has already lost 3 games, so playoffs are dead to them. What is it like in that locker room? Do they have guys that are kind of starting to check out a little bit? While Michigan State is probably looking at this as this ginormous opportunity to keep the momentum going in the right direction with a big win on the road over their arch rivals. So this is more of a spot play for me more than anything, but I will take the Spartans outright over the Wolverines.
What'd you get it at?
I was looking at Michigan if it could get under 3 or get to 3. I just don't. I like the Michigan defense as the kind of the X factor, but I couldn't pull the trigger. That offense is just it's tough to bet on.
Yeah, and kind of piggybacking off that, with as good as the Michigan defense has been, and it has been very, very good, this Michigan State offense just got done playing Iowa, right? And then we know what that Iowa defense is year in and year out, and it's good once again this year. They were able to find enough points, score enough points. Really, it's very similar, Iowa and Michigan, because like you said, that Michigan offense can't do anything, it doesn't seem like.
Nope.
Yeah. What'd you get it at? I like it.
Plus 160.
Yeah, I looked at it too. As Chad was talking, I was just like, oh, he's saying the same thing that I'm going to say. Is I wanted to get Michigan State. That offense just kept me away.
Yeah. So, all right, Hitch, what's your plus money play?
I'm going to go with Georgia State plus 235 at App State.
Yeah.
All 3 of my whatever you want to call them models like Georgia State, right, to win the game.
Yeah.
Right, not just cover. And then I see something like that and you start digging in, and man, this App State defense is doo-doo. It is awful. And so numbers, when you look at numbers, right, the Georgia State defense is better than the App State defense, and the App State offense isn't all that great anyway. It's a down year in Boone, right? There's not a lot of excitement around that program right now. I could see Georgia State going in and winning this game, and so it feels like there is some excitement around those programs in Georgia, right? Georgia Southern, Georgia State. They are starting to get some kids to come in and starting to really show some of the bigger guys in the bigger conferences, that they're pretty good. But I like this as they go to Boone. I realize that, App State's got a home game here. I just don't think that they show up to play. I think Georgia State goes in there and wins. So plus 235.
Yeah. I like that. I'm on Georgia State plus 8 myself. I couldn't pull the trigger money line rise, but yeah, we got a lot of synergy this week, it looks like.
Yeah. All right, Chad, what's your plus money this week?
A tandem of Tigers for my money line parlay. LSU, like I had already mentioned, I'm going to pair those with the Auburn Tigers going up to Kentucky. I got it at plus 373. It's a coin toss, right? It's Kentucky and Auburn. I think Auburn is 2.5. I'm just taking a chance that Hugh Freeze is going to do something that doesn't look like shit. And so, yeah, we'll go with I already think LSU is going to win. Put a little bit more money on it. Yeah, take LSU Auburn money lines.
Yeah, and that Auburn Kentucky game, I've looked at and I have no idea what to do with it because I have no idea which team is showing up on either side of the ball, whether it be Kentucky or Auburn. Right? It is a coin flip in the truest sense of the word.
Yep.
That game is drunk before kickoff.
And I got
like
that game has already just got me in all sorts of what is going on here.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. All right. Well, look, before we get out of here, let's go ahead and run through the rest of these SEC lines real quick. Starting with a big game in Oxford. Ole Miss really needs this one. Oklahoma plus 20.5 traveling to Ole Miss. Look, Ole Miss is going to win the game. I'm confident they're going to win the game. This Oklahoma offense has been dreadful all year long. Yes, Jackson Arnold is getting put back in there as the starting quarterback. They've changed offensive coordinators. Who knows what's going to look like? But all that said, I'm not picking this Ole Miss team and this Ole Miss offense to cover 20.5 points against anybody right now. I'll take Oklahoma to cover, but obviously Ole Miss to win.
I think I would probably, with it under 21, my numbers do like Ole Miss. If it got up to 21.
Oh, yeah, mine do too, but my eyes don't.
No, I know. But I'll be contrarian for the sake of this, and I'll take Ole Miss.
Yeah.
I don't feel a strong way, though.
Rebels, right? I think the way that Oklahoma's been beaten the past few weeks, and that defense is very good. But the Ole Miss defense is very good as well. Under 21, I'm not on them, and I won't because it's a hard and fast rule. I don't bet the Rebels. But under 21, I would be on the Rebels here.
I got you.
Especially coming off it's a bye week, right? Yeah. Coming off of a bye week, I think Lane Kiffin's got something to prove.
Yeah, well, he does have something to prove, but he needs to prove it. All right. Got Arkansas minus 6.5 traveling to Starkville, take on Mississippi State Bulldogs. Again, we've said for the last couple of weeks on the show, hate Mississippi State, but kind of like the way they've been playing. They've been playing really hard under Levy. Really like Van Buren, that freshman quarterback. I think he's really coming along. Levy might have something there if they can hold on to him and keep him from transferring somewhere else during the offseason when the tampering portal ramps up. All that said, I'll take State plus the 6.5 here, though. SEC underdogs have been an absolute moneymaker, so as long as you're getting points, for the most part, I'll keep riding with you. So I'll once again lean State.
I'm going to go the other way just because it's under a touchdown. I'm wondering if, yes, Mississippi State's been playing very well, but at some point, if you're not winning those games, when do they check out? And Arkansas coming off they did not look great against LSU. They've been banged up. So it's not like Arkansas is coming in hot. But because I get it under a touchdown, I do think Arkansas is the more talented team. And Sam Pittman has got to pull off some wins here because he's not on the safest seat. I'll take Arkansas just because it's under a touchdown.
All right.
Yeah, I like Arkansas here too. When you look at that State defense, at rush success, they're 121st in the country. Arkansas is going to run the ball well. Taylor Green he's playing right. I didn't see him on the injury report.
I'm sure.
I think he probably gives them a hard time here. If it stays under a touchdown, Arkansas. Yeah.
Okay. Next up, two teams that really need to win if they're going to have any shot at making the playoffs this year, which is the expectation for both of these teams coming into the year. Missouri traveling Tuscaloosa, Missouri plus 13.5 on the road. With these two teams having to win this game, that just seems like too many points. I haven't seen anything from Alabama that makes me think that they're going to blow somebody out. So I will take Missouri at 13.5 right here.
I lean that way too, but it's such this is a game I don't know what to expect. I could see both outcomes where Alabama wins by 40. I could see Missouri winning straight up. I'll lean Missouri just because it does feel like a lot of points, but I don't know if we know who Missouri really is. This could be a preseason hype situation completely. So I'll lean Missouri, but I don't have a strong feeling on it.
Yeah.
Alabama.
All right. So still no consensus here.
Mm-hmm.
Next one up, big one here. Longhorns coming off of a loss to Georgia. Hits the road to Nashville. Texas favored by 19 at Vanderbilt. Does Diego Pavia have one more giant upset in his bag? I'm leaning Commodores plus 19. That is just an absolute ton of points.
Yeah, same here. It's too many points. I think that Vanderbilt can keep it close. I don't think they're going to win by any stretch, but yeah, I'll lean Commodores, especially considering you got a good chance for a hangover from Texas coming off of that game against Georgia, and they maybe just be beat up. I don't think that's a fun team to play against the next week. Man, you got to be sore and hurting all this week. So yeah, I'll lean Vanderbilt there.
There's your consensus, Vandy.
There it is. I don't think Vanderbilt's going to win outright either. What I do think is that I'm going to bet them to win outright by the time Saturday comes around, though. I feel pretty confident in that.
Yeah,
All right.
I'm pretty
Next
confident
up,
you do that too.
we've already talked about this one. LSU plus 2.5 at A&M. We all liked LSU in that one, if I remember correctly. And then we'll move on. Auburn plus 2.5 at Kentucky. Obviously, Chad likes Auburn. I guess if I had to lean either way, I would lean Auburn just because they're getting points. I'm staying as far away from this game as I possibly can, though.
Yep.
Kentucky. I'm staying as far away from Hugh Freeze as I can. Kentucky.
Yeah, fair.
I hear you, man. All right, guys. Well, we will go ahead and wrap it up there. Everybody, we appreciate y'all tuning in. We will be back with y'all next Wednesday. Again, make sure y'all are tuning in on Wednesday or Thursday at the latest to make sure you're getting the best number we're giving out here, because that was the difference in a win and a push with Army last week. So y'all make sure to tune in 6 o'clock Central every single Wednesday. YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts. And then also go check out Rhythm, RITHMM. Start building your own models, bet games that way, all across different sports. And make sure to check out our online store as well, omafterdark.myshopify.com. Hitch, Chad, I appreciate y'all. And we'll talk to y'all again next week. All right, Toddy.
See you, boys.